We're wrapping up Will's transition to coaching and how it's reshaping his identity and purpose after retirement to mentor and family man. We also take an intimate look into meticulous scheduling and the challenge of balancing both personal and professional commitments, followed by action packed advice to help you make informed decisions about fluoride intake and oral care alternatives.
The Discovery Doc Podcast, where your journey to empowered, non-toxic living begins. Join me, Dr. CeCe, a doctor of nursing practice, self-proclaimed toxin tamer, and mama of four, alongside
me, Anna Kate, your medical mystery overachiever. Together, we'll uncover the latest in functional medicine, debunk health myths, tame toxins, and provide practical tips for thriving in a modern world.
Get ready to take control of your health with expert insights, raw stories, and actionable wellness strategies designed to help you and your family lead vibrant, toxin-free lives.
Let's discover together.
All right, well, what is the next adventure because you're now retired?
Yes.
So walking into retirement, what was that choice like for you to just say, like, what went into that choice of retiring and pivoting into still coaching and being part of MMA and part of the fighting world, but in a different capacity?
Honestly, I'm not even 100% sure what came in, like, will play a part into retiring. I think it was, I had fought at the highest levels of mixed martial arts for a long time, and unfortunately, there was a handful of different things that came about that took me out of that spotlight. And we tried to put together our journey, and I had to get back to it, and it just didn't work out. And we had battled, and it was only so long you can run your head into that brick wall and realize that that brick wall is not going to move or go anywhere. And then, so I battle with that. I battle with, like, man, if I leave this sport, what value do I bring to anything else? Because that was my life for so long. And so I had a hard time going back and forth with that. And then
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I think it was also exceptionally hard because the circumstances that kind of pushed him out of this sport were not based on skill. It would be different if he just, for lack of a better word, sucked and didn't have the skill to compete at that level, but it was everything outside of skill that we don't need to go into, but that was preventing him from getting back to that level. And so I think that adds, like, mentally a different layer and component to try to work through, and not to almost grieve, because you know that you're good enough. You've proven that you're good enough. You've been a world champion, but the politics of sport and other things don't allow you.
Yeah, I think it was
a little bit of,
we went through. Yeah, that was a little bit of a twist. And as an individual that's like I'm pretty self-driven and self-motivated, you kind of get more into, what am I doing? How do I fix it? How do I answer the question? And the more I continue to try to figure it out, the more difficulty I found that I was having. And then that's when I just stepped back and I was like, really leaned into my faith. And it was like, you know what? I had heard this saying where it was, if it's hard and it never gets any better, that's clearly not the fight or not what God wants for you. And I noticed that, like, man, the more I try to keep pushing at MMA and keeping my career alive, the harder it got, the more difficult it got, the further away I got from it. And then I started sitting back and was like, well, what happens if I just stand still and just trust that God is going to put me exactly where I need to be? And then that's when my heart and my mind was at its most peaceful spot. And I started realizing, I'm like, oh, I'm awesome at being a stay-at-home dad. Like, doing this work is very gratifying to me, and being around my kids and helping my wife and doing these different things. It was like, oh, I really enjoy this. So,
and it wouldn't have been impossible to open our practice. Like, Heidi and I opened our practice in 6 weeks over the holidays.
Yeah.
If he was in a training camp, if he had been fighting, that would not have happened.
Yeah.
If he still to this day were fighting and in training camps, we couldn't homeschool our kids. Even though I'm seeing patients 3 days a week, like with homeschool and just other life things, it wouldn't be possible at all. So
it's just, again, like, it's like I said before, I'm very big into seeing the situation and let's find an answer. And during that time, that period, it was like, all right, well, this is the new role that God has put me in. This is where my place is right now. So it took a little bit of energy to be like, all right, well, how do I take the same attitude and approach that I had when it came to getting ready for a fight or getting ready to compete? And I was like, all right, well, I can take that same energy and put it towards what I do as a husband and a father. So, I look at the same challenges that I face and we face as a unit and a team. And I'm like, oh, well, let's take the kind of the same approach that I did with fighting and competing.
Do you miss the adrenaline of being in front of that many people?
Not at all.
Really?
I think it's the further I get away from it, the more I realize that I was over it. I think that's why things got harder for me. It wasn't so much that I couldn't do it. I think mentally, emotionally, I was over it. But it was such a oh, this is who I am. So I have to do this. And this is how I help with financially with the family. So I need to go and do this. And then the more I got away from it, the more I realized that, oh, wait, you know what was happening? I was going to training camps or going into the gym and just complaining the whole time. And coaches coming up to me asking me, like, are you all right, man? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Just trying to push forward through that. So the more I get away from it, the more
one of he didn't go out of his way to do interviews to be this big personality on TV. That wasn't really.
I wasn't a fighter. I'm not a fighter. I was an athlete. I wanted to play football, and that worked. And then MMA came along, and I was like, all right, well, refocus my attention.
But there are these guys, these athletes in general, or entertainers. They're entertainers. They love being famous. They love, being a showman, and that's not him. I just wanted to go and do his job and come home. And so that's why I was curious about famous telling me John.
So you have the identity of dad, super dad, down, and your faith identity. You're solid in your faith and your relationship with Christ. How is your work identity? Is that someone
that has changed. Being a coach now, I think that's also helped me make that transition into retirement, because now I'm not competing in the sport of mixed martial arts, but now I'm coaching it. I'm still a part of the environment. And I think this job and this ability to be around these young fighters came at a really, really good time for me, because I had, I guess in so many words, maybe found some enlightenment, found some answers to some things that I felt like a lot of young men needed to hear answers to, and I just saw an opportunity to step into this position, in this role, not just to coach them as fighters, but also coach them if they have any questions of, I got a couple guys that are going to be first-time fathers, and they ask me questions about that, and they get to see me operate with my kids and bring my kids to the gym, and they follow me on social media and things like that. So I try to be a role model in that space. So I'm just like, man, this is awesome, because I think that was something that, if I'm being completely honest, I think that was something that I lacked in my career, was having that coach. And don't get me wrong, I had incredible coaches that gave me a lot of lessons in life, but it was more transitioning it to fighting, right? But we're all different. But yeah, it just came at a perfect time where I was just like, oh, this new role that I'm in feels comfortable. I have a lot of answers to questions that I had, and I'm sure there's other young men that are probably going through the same things that I went through. Is this career worth it? How do I have a family and compete, or do I need a full-time job and compete, or I'm about to get engaged, or first-time husband, all these different things. And I would just lean into it. I was like, man, this is somewhere I want to be, and I really try to lean into.
So you're not only just a coach, but you're also a mentor for these young men on a personal life level, not just as their coach and an athlete, because that goes a long way. And you get to teach, as a coach, you get to teach discipline and show them up. And that's what any sport. And your kids are great examples of, hey, we're going to try something. If we like it and we're naturally gifted at it, good at it, we pursue it and develop the skills even more, even when it gets tough and it gets hard and I want to quit. But Brooks don't quit. They keep going. They keep going and figure it out. And if the pivot happens, like you had to pivot away from being the main athlete, but now you get to exponentially pour into these young men at such a different level. And because of your upbringing and your story of, it's not just having a coach that shows up in the gym for you, it's how do we do life together, and how do we make you a more well-rounded athlete, but also a well-rounded human being, that when those pitfalls come and when the things that the adversity comes, like, how do we deal with it? And it's not personal. It's just, it's called show business for a reason.
Yeah, that's huge. Because fighting is a blimp in time. Like, it is a blimp in time. And I think that fighting is such a interesting thing to be a part of. And I think,
no, you're glad he quit.
yeah, that anxiety. But I think a lot of people are on your team when you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
And then when you start to struggle a little bit, the teammates, those coaches, whoever, kind of fall off. And so having someone who is going to be on your team no matter what, whether you're winning, losing, because they're on your life team, not on your, hey, you're making us a whole bunch of money, you have a belt around your waist team. I think that is so invaluable.
Yeah, and I think, and not just, what I've noticed also, not just being able to give, I think I've received a lot also. Like, being around these young kids, these young guys in the gym, and seeing their enthusiasm for life and their want to be great and their energy builds me up, because, there is truth to the fact that, like, yes, I am tired sometimes, and those guys charge me up when I'm in there with them, because they're just happy to be there. They're happy to be around me. They remind me, and my wife can speak to this, I've never really celebrated myself, like, to the point where it's like, oh, these accomplishments or these things that I've done are a big deal. I've always been like, all right, I did it, move on to the next thing. Like, I set that goal, I accomplished that goal, move to the next thing, rather than actually sit in that space of celebrating myself or celebrating accomplishments. So to be around those kids, and this also kind of helped me step away from competing, was understanding that, oh, I did leave something, I did do something that is recognizable within the sport.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a concern for me. And now these young men and other guys my age are talking to me and recognizing me, know who I am and all these different things. And they energize me. And it's been a really exciting time. And, I look forward to what happens in the future. And, it's a bit of a transition, because now you're like, I'm like, man, do this skill, do it right now. I'm trying,
Like, why can't they do it?
why can't they do this? I do this all the time with without thinking about it. And now you have to figure out how to do that. And then that helps me figure out, how do I parent and teach my kids, because there are times where I'm a little impatient with something and not realizing that, oh, you're brand new at this. This is something that you're just learning. So I shouldn't expect you to get it right from the start just because of my own personal successes and things like that. So yeah, it's been a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been teaching me how to be a better father, better husband, and also give me an opportunity to teach these young guys.
Well, you are killing it as a human being.
Well, I don't know all about that.
Well, your effort do not go unnoticed.
I do okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, his eyelashes are like this long. They're so long and so cute.
Yeah.
So adorable. Well, thank you for being our first guest. You're just going to have to be the first guest on every season. Like,
Oh,
going to be the thing. We're going to get the update.
I'll be update.
So we are very thankful that Baby Jace is here. Yes, we waited for you for a long time. We did. It was a struggle, but we got there.
Yeah. Team effort.
So is there anything that either one of you want to give an update on the world of podcasting, the Discovery Dog world?
What else you want to give them?
There's my own, like, I'm been working on my own podcast, but I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay, so we'll drop
I'm not even like, I'm just in the flow of it right now. I'm trying to get my feet back underneath
We'll
me,
drop that.
rolling with it.
Ready.
Yeah, once it's ready, I don't even have a name for it.
Look out
And
for
yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be me just talking, and if I had to give a general blueprint or layout of what it is really a podcast focused on mental health in the male community, if I had to put like words on it. But I'm also trying to put it in a space where it's people are feel invited and welcomed into it rather than feeling like, oh, this guy's just gonna lecture me and talk to me and figure out how to be myself. And that's really kind of unscripted but scripted at the same time. If that makes sense.
See this guy out.
Yeah, you want to see this dude with me. So it's something I've really been trying to work on. Had to take a little break from it, but we're back up a little now, so it should be up and good pretty soon.
Well, we'll make sure that the Discovery.community knows about Will Brooks podcast.
They got 2BD. TBD. I said 2BD. 2BD.
TBD. Yeah. TBD.
Oh, thanks. Well, thank you again for joining us and giving us the life update and all the dad things. Give you all an inside look at the Brooks family and how they manage all the things that they manage. Super, super cool right here. Super kids.
And all this water.
Yeah. So
all this drool and saliva and
all those mouth noises you have to for this entire episode are this man.
Just enjoy them in your earbuds, in your ear holes.
Exactly.
It's all good. Well, stay tuned for our next segment. Coming up next is our Discovery Doc Deep Dives. So as we move forward in this series, make sure that you just join us every month for an incredible guest. And then also medical myth busting and toxin taming. You're what?
Goodbye.
good job, Bubba.
Good job, dude.
On this segment of Discovery Doc Deep Dives, we are going to deep dive into the life changes that have happened since baby number 4 has come along. So he is still napping and making all the squeakers. So just enjoy the background noise.
Yes.
And then also how the focus of having 4 kids, how you and Will have kind of recentered your marriage around being a God-centered marriage and what that means, not only for your relationship, but also in raising your children.
Loaded question. Loaded topic, I should say.
That's why it's a deep dive.
Yes, it is a deep dive. There was a little bit where, and Will and I talked about this in an episode this month, where we felt like we were just being kind of robotic. Like we are so good at being in chaos. Like we are just a tag team with everything. We do 50-50 with everything. Like we know our roles, we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses. We even each other out really well, and we just get going. So that's why, like, people, my friend texted me the other day, on my personal Instagram, I posted a video of our last vacation, and she was just like, I struggle going 2 hours from the house with my one kid. Like, you need to write a book on how to travel with multiple kids. And I'm like, for us, we just do it because it's so effortless because we know our jobs, we know our roles. But in that, it's very easy to just be robotic about it and just get the work done because we're both so good at just getting the work done. That's where we've had to circle back more recently and say, okay, whoa, like, yes, we're parenting really well. Yes, we're getting to all the gymnastics meets and the baseball twice a week and the school events and, taking care of this baby. We don't have a babysitter. We have nobody else watch our kids. Like, we're homeschooling. We're doing all the things. But what about you and me? Like, where are we? And that is where we had to sit down and evaluate. And I was very honest. We had a very honest conversation that was like, hey, right now we as a unit, did you just wake up confuzzled? As a unit, we feel a little bit disconnected right now.
Yeah.
And I know.
What are you thinking?
I'm tired and I woke up and I didn't need to wake up. I know.
You're fine. You're all good.
Let's see if we can get to sleep in just a couple more minutes and then I'll go push you down and home, okay? Like as a unit, we just had this conversation of, hey, we don't feel connected to each other right now.
Yeah.
And so no matter how many kids we have, no matter like what is happening in life, we've had to make a very conscious effort recently to be like, hey, this is how things get, like the devil kind of swerves in and starts to break people apart, is because Like, and it can start with just life getting too hectic and getting too busy. And all of a sudden you're looking at your husband and you're like, whoa, when's the last time we sat down together?
Yeah.
When's the last time we had a conversation, not to do with kids, not to do with work, but just soul to soul connecting.
Right.
And it was like this light bulb because we were sitting in church and they were going through, of course, a marriage segment that just every point our pastor was making, we were like, oh, like we need to circle it back. So like, I'm very proud of the parents that we are. I'm very proud of like how we're raising our family and our kids. But after having this kiddo, it's taken us now until the 7th month mark for us to even recognize that doing all that and doing it all efficiently and well has caused us to not be as connected.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, okay, we always prioritize our marriage. Like, we're always on the same team in front of the kids. We are a unit. So how do we actually stay true to that?
Team.
Yeah. And then stay true to that. Like, what do we need to implement? What do we need to do? What do we like? How do we just spend that quality time together? And I think that's not just after having kids. That's, people who have jobs and are busy and working and like life. And I think that both of us have like where we want to always start with that is, okay, are we putting God first in our marriage? Because if we put God first in our marriage, then nothing else around that can break us or interrupt our connection. So that's what we're working on right now, is coming back to basics and really putting God at the center of our relationship as well as our household, because we do feel like it's in the center of our household, but not always in our marriage, if that makes sense. And so just returning to that and then making the time to, when we have time, making the
I'm not going anywhere. It's right there.
Making the intentional effort to, even though we would have him to do something without the other kids.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's a day where I don't work and the kids are in school, okay, maybe we meet for coffee. And so we're going to do that Friday, because right now date nights are just not really a thing yet, because we're not quite ready to leave him at night with the babysitter. But, just making that extra effort, because if we're not good in our marriage, or as strong as we can be in our marriage, and don't have God at the center of our marriage, then what use are we to our kids?
Everything else falls apart.
Yeah, that's where we are. Have you guys ever, obviously this can be completely unrelated to kids, but have you guys ever kind of gone through that season where you've evaluated your marriage and you're like, like, we've been so busy that, like, where is our connection?
Yeah, there's been times that, like, we tried to have a family meeting every Sunday night and just, hey, what's coming up over the next 90 days, 60 days, 30 days? Like, what do we want to accomplish? What's, what's going on? What things do we have that we are committed to? Yeah, what we're committed to. And, he went on a big trip recently and he was gone for like 8 days, and he came back and we were having dinner and he was on his phone, and I'm like, I haven't seen you in a week and a half. I need you to be, you don't have to say anything to me, but just be present. Like, we don't need to be distracted by our
100%.
phones, and there's, all the things that have to happen, and all the things. So, and we don't have kids, and it's easy, it's easy for us to do, and, just kind of get in our own little thing.
Yeah, I think, and also almost opposite of that is, Will and I, we have to plan every tea of, like, every second of our life, because it is, okay, pick this kid up at this time, and this kid goes here at this time, and then this kid has to be picked up here, and then they have to be picked up from school here, and then I work until this time, and then I have a home visit, and then I have to be back by this time, because then Will has to leave for work, and it's constantly scheduling.
Yeah.
And like, my type A personality loves that. Will does not thrive in that whatsoever. So then to him, it becomes very like, what's the word? Monotonous. Yes, that one. And for me, that's when I become even more like on autopilot. And so trying to come out of that, but also manage a family of 6.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. So that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm like, okay, how do I make sure everyone's scheduled and getting to their things, but not like overdoing it where I'm not actually sitting back and enjoying these things, instead of just playing like timekeeper.
Yeah. And you're managing, in essence, two families. You're managing your Discovery Wellness family and the Brooks family, of making sure that, and I think y'all do a really great job of giving each of your children attention.
Yeah.
And not just, hey, everybody in the car, everybody out of the car, kind of a thing. And that y'all are present in the events that are happening and cheering them on and doing all of those things.
Yeah, we do try. That is something that, like, as a family, like, we all go to Ava's gymnastics competitions, and then we all go to Jackson's baseball games. Mm-hmm. And his sisters know, like, hey, you are here to support your brother, just like he is there to support you at your thing. And I know eventually that will change when you have 4 kids who are doing 4 different things on one day.
Wildly different things.
But for now, that is very important to us, is to go as a unit to these different events to support each other, as a collective. So
I wonder what sport you'll pick.
I know.
Maybe you'll be an equestrian. Maybe. Or a swimmer.
Who knows? He's very long and lean.
Yeah, you could be a swimmer.
I'm trying to get some weight on this dude. I am.
Yeah. Oh, that mommy milk just makes you just perfect. Yeah, just perfect. Well, is there anything else that you want to, in our deep dives of catching up over the last year, anything that you want to touch on, or just that, what are you grateful for in the last season of your life?
So one, I would say, just give yourself some grace. I'm not good at that. I'm very critical. So it's like, and again, it goes down to my type A personality. So I'm like, if something doesn't get done, I feel guilty over it. Mm-hmm. So switching that thinking to be grateful for what I did get done, and not like housing the stress of the other stuff that did not get done. Mm-hmm. That is something I battle every day. So just giving yourself some grace and understanding that seasons come, seasons go, and in each season you can prioritize something different. Yeah. And it's like right now, I told you this earlier, like I have not worked out not a once since having this baby. And
you look phenomenal.
But if we're talking about health and wellness, it's just something that in this season of life, like I will get there when I get there. And it's something that I at first kind of struggled with. It. Yeah. I've always been active. I've always like prioritized, working out and whatever and staying fit. And right now I'm just like, your body just wants to rest. Like your body is just,
you're burning all the calories feeding him. You'll build the muscle later.
So just honoring yourself, showing grace for yourself. I know it can be so hard, but that is my biggest recommendation that's come with having this 4th nugget. And I am just thankful that he is here and healthy and happy, and that given the pregnancy I went through, we made it.
You are perfect. Yeah, he's getting this big gummy smile over here. Yeah.
He is very distracting this month, guys. We're sorry. It'll get better at some point, but that's okay. Right now we're just goovering over his little gummy smile and his 2 toofies.
So if you're listening to us, then those are all the funny noises. If you're watching us, then you'll know exactly what he's doing. Yeah. So watch us on all the things, listen on all the things. So, yeah. Good job.
Good job, dudes. We made it. We made it.
And now the moment you have all been waiting for. How do we tame the toxins? How do we ditch and switch?
That was so theatrical. How do we ditch and switch? Okay, so for water, in our water episode, we talk a lot about different filters that you can use, but not all of them take out fluoride. Again, because in some local water, fluoride is not considered a contaminant. Mm-hmm. So then when we go to take it out, we need to consider that. For example, carbon filters don't take out fluoride. Right. So we got to kind of go a step up. I prefer reverse osmosis filters for removing fluoride. Reverse osmosis is super popular. A lot of people use it. It takes out the good and the bad, though. So it's really important to have a filtration system, if you're using reverse osmosis, that also remineralizes your water. So it takes out the yucky stuff, takes out minerals like fluoride, but it also takes out the good stuff. So you want to put the good stuff back in. There are good reverse osmosis kind of countertop systems. There are ones that you can add under your sink at home or in the office. There's whole house ones. Yep. One that is super convenient and pretty cost effective is called AquaTru. We use that quite a bit at home. and it holds, I think, 2 gallons. I might be lying. It might be 1 gallon of water, but it is countertop. It is reverse osmosis, and it does remineralize.
Nice.
Yes. Mr. Jeffy Boo.
Hi.
Yes, you moved in very sidetrack. And then for toothpaste, I always use fluoride-free toothpaste.
Yep.
Although in terms of studies, okay, we're talking about fluoride in water and consuming water. Is it good for our teeth? We will debunk that myth a little
Our
bit.
medical myth.
Yes.
Yeah.
In that segment. But in terms of actual toothpaste, there's good alternatives that are fluoride free. David's natural toothpaste is really good. Attitude has a fluoride free toothpaste that I like. Great Oral Health has a remineralizing toothpaste that uses nanohydroxyapatite. Yeah, you really think about that. And also there's good natural ways to protect your teeth from decaying or from cavities. D3K2 is very important. Silica. Oral probiotics. Again, Great Oral Health has an oral probiotic that is awesome. There's digestive enzymes through your mouth that help to regain kind of the pH of your oral cavity, fight off anything that might be overgrowing, bacteria, viruses, candida. Cell salts, calc fluor, and calc phos are really good in terms of protecting your teeth, remineralizing them, unlike a neurotoxin in fluoride.
And all the things. Those are all the ditch and switch.
Here's those from my two first.
So if we have fluoride in our toothpaste now, because we advocate for using what we have and not being wasteful. So if you still have some, just make sure you rinse and spit really well and rinse out your mouth, because you're not gonna.
You can also use, if you want to just get rid of what you have, you can use a good oral binding agent. So you can take a little bit of activated charcoal and swish it around and spit it out.
Yep.
You could also use TRS spray, and any other like bentonite clay, zeolite clay, anything else orally that you can just kind of swish and spit out, and that will help to kind of gather up some of the toxins, spit it out, don't swallow it, obviously.
Right. Obviously, there's a thing on your toothpaste that says "do not swallow."
Yes.
Why? We're putting it in our mouth, but it's not safe for us to swallow. Interesting.
Right. Especially for kids. Like my whole thing, I'm going on a tangent here, but my whole thing with kids is I don't even use toothpaste until they are old enough to effectively and efficiently spit out. Yeah. Because otherwise, like my 2-year-old is in there just eating toothpaste from the container. True husband? Fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it tastes, it's not minty, it's fruitier.
Exactly. So I don't use toothpaste until they're able to spit it out. Otherwise, those are some good options. And also naturally, you don't even have to use toothpaste. You can use coconut oil and mix a little coconut oil with activated charcoal and brush your teeth with that. And that's an awesome natural way to take care of your teeth.
Oh, thanks. And we will link your favorite switches.
Yes.
So be sure to check out the show notes, because we'll put those there. And we'll put more in the blog and all the things. But that's a great first toxin to tame.
It is.
I think it's the most easy one that everybody has access to.
Easy. That's good English.
Most easiest. I'm gonna get good better. So we've learned about fluoride, what it is, where it's found, why we need to be aware of it, and how we can ditch and switch. So if you have any questions about fluoride, drop us a note and let us know. So, yeah.
Welcome to this week's myth busting segment. So last week we talked about, is fluoridated water really good for your teeth? No, but okay. How does it actually protect our teeth? Does it protect our teeth?
No.
Again, this has been a trend.
This has been a no trend this entire month.
Nope.
So yeah, we wanted to drop little nuggets on how fluoride ended up in our water, and it kind of goes along with our toxin for this month, which is fluoride. So listen, throughout our episodes as to what fluoride is, where you can find it, and then in today's episode, how you can, what's the term you use?
Ditch and switch.
Ditch and switch, exactly, for better products. But does it actually help our teeth when it's in water? And the answer is no. From the history of it, we know how it got into our water, which was, again, not by this amazing dentist who did all these studies to prove that fluoridated water was beneficial for our teeth, but actually a toxic byproduct of an aluminum company, of which it was first publicly, you go over there, of which the first public recommendation was made from an aluminum-based company. So
Back in 1995, the California Department of Health Services revealed that money spent on dental work actually increased in areas where water was fluoridated in that state, while dental costs decreased in communities without fluoridated water.
Interesting.
Yeah. And in 2000, someone named John D.B. Featherstone, what a name, published a study in the Journal of American Dental Association that concluded that ingesting fluoride from tap water does absolutely nada, very little to prevent tooth decay. Rather, it only works when directly applied to the teeth. Now, keep in mind, we're only talking about water here. I have my thoughts and opinions on it being applied to teeth because we still swallow it, especially on kids. Like when I worked in chain pediatric office in Florida, we would, even if a baby had 2 teeth, we would apply it directly to the tooth, say they can't eat or drink for 30 minutes after that, but they're swallowing it. So they're still getting that in terms of systemically. Now, there is literature that shows, hey, when it's applied directly to the tooth, it can prevent tooth decay. That has absolutely nothing to do with us swallowing water or drinking water through a straw. We are not sitting there and swishing water in our mouth every time we drink it. So except for, I guess, when we brush our teeth and spit it out.
It does more for your liver.
Exactly.
Not good things for your liver, but it does more to your liver than it does to your teeth.
Right. And so the overexposure of it, no, the answer is no. It is not significant enough to prevent tooth decay in our water that we should be consuming it every time we drink water. According to the United States Health Department, the Department of Health and Human Services, the average person absorbs what? Yes, okay. Good. Just be quiet. Yes, I know. Okay, there, just take that. We'll pause it. No. So according to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the average person absorbs 7 parts per million of fluoride every single day. 7 parts per million. To put that in perspective, the EPA says that the optimal level of exposure to fluoride is no more than 1 part per million. No more than 1. The World Health Organization says it's safe to be exposed to 1.5 parts per million. But here we are getting exposure to 7 parts per million. So someone else do that math. What is that, like 7 times the limit of one of the EPA, like about 4 times the limit of the WHO.
Are the EPA and FDA in a relationship?
Probably.
Are they sleeping together?
They might be. Little mistress over there. But that's my point here is that, okay, if we are swishing the water in our mouth to spit it out, that's 1 time in a day that it might slightly help to prevent tooth decay. But the other times where we're just drinking it, we're drinking out of our water bottle straw, we're drinking it through a baby sippy cup, that does nothing, absolutely nothing for our teeth. So we're actually doing more harm than good by allowing this fluoride to come in to bioaccumulate. That's why it is considered a neurotoxin. It has been known and shown in literature stemming the past 50 years to contribute to Alzheimer's, certain cancers, muscle, ligament disease, thyroid dysfunction, immune dysfunction, cardiovascular dysfunction, etc., because we are drinking it every single day and it's bioaccumulating, and we're not just applying it directly to our teeth, again, which I have my thoughts on, but at least literature shows us that applying it directly to the teeth does a little something.
Okay, so if it's in our water, so I'm throwing her a curveball, so just bear with me. If it's beneficial to have it in our water because it actually helps with our teeth, then why would we need to do a varnish at the dentist office?
Yeah,
enough.
great. Yeah. Answer that, aluminum companies. There is no reason to.
Yeah.
Or then, if it's only meant to protect our teeth, why isn't toothpaste enough?
Right.
Why isn't fluoride in the toothpaste enough? That's directly applied to the tooth. So let's stick with that. That should answer all of that for you. Or raise enough questions or flags for you that says, why is it in our water when we're told to use fluoride in our toothpaste that's applied directly to the teeth?
Yeah.
Food for thought, guys.
Very interesting.
Yes.
So I hope we've at least opened up your thoughts about exploring fluoride and doing a little more deep dive for yourself and to make your own decision. This is the facts. This is our opinion.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and you're entitled to your own opinion. So don't add us. But if you want to know more, and another myth that you want busted, just send us a message. You can go to thediscoverydoc.com on our podcast page and send us a voicemail, and you may end
A
up
voicemail. She
Yeah.
means, yeah, absolutely send us a voicemail.
a voice memo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we can do that. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah.
On our website?
On our website.
I was about to make fun of her for saying to send us a voicemail.
Nope.
I was
So
like, what are they calling us directly?
on our podcast page,
Okay.
you can leave us
I'm gonna be quiet now.
a 90-second message. And also, if you're there, go ahead and send us another message for your gratitude for our November episode for Thanksgiving. So we're going to do a Thanksgiving gratitude.
Woo-woo.
So since this is the last episode of August, of October, of October, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, go ahead and leave us a gratitude of what you're thankful for in 2024 and let us know all the things, and we'll put you on our Thanksgiving Day episode.
Yeah, and y'all, we ain't scared of nothing. So if there's any myth, any product, any drug, any TikTok like thing that is a fad right now that you want us to give kind of unbiased information, I get a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I get emotional about my nose, but all that is factual. So everything will always be factual with a little added personality, you know. We'll dissect it as much as we can, as best as we can. So please let us know. And until next time,
Let's discover together.
We hope you enjoyed Will Brooks' inspiring transition from the octagon to family life and mentorship. We trust that Dr. CeCe's insights on household management and practical advice on fluoride have given you some food for thought. If today's show sparked any questions, or if you have a myth that you'd like us to explore in the future, don't hesitate to send us a voicemail through our website. Remember, our upcoming Thanksgiving episode will feature your voices as well. So let us know what you're thankful and grateful for in 2024. Join us next week as we continue our journey. Let's discover together. We'd love to see you around. So become an insider at thediscoverydoc.com to gain exclusive access to bonus content, helpful resources, and the latest updates. Also, leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps others discover our show and join our wellness-driven community. Explore more resources at thediscoverydoc.com, your one-stop destination for practical tips, expert advice, and inspiring stories on achieving optimal health. And follow us on all the social media platforms at The Discovery Doc for daily wellness wisdom and engaging updates. Thank you for joining us on this journey towards a happier, healthier you. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Before you go, this is the part where we have to get a little serious. Just a little. Please remember that the information shared in this podcast is for general informational and entertainment purposes only. While we strive to provide accurate and helpful information, we're not here to replace your doctor or healthcare provider. Think of us as your friendly health enthusiast gal pals who love sharing what we know, but always remember to consult with a qualified medical professional before taking any action based on the content of this podcast. And just like the Pirates Code, this disclaimer may change from time to time, so be sure to check back for updates. Stay healthy, stay happy, and don't forget to laugh. It's good for you.